Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I am late for Woke Wednesdays
Berries.
because, it's car season. We rented a car today and I just got back a while ago and unpacked. So we are set up now to stream. We got some, as always, woke ass shit to go over and let's just see what she has set for us.
Starting with clownfish.
Yeah, Clownfish starts and then she's got Simp Saver Sam and then another Clownfish if we get to it. So.
What the hell is even that?
What exactly separates humans from animals? With mental illness running rampant in our world, the line's about to get real blurry with some of the clips we'll watch today.
It's the same thing.
Starting with this woman, who's determined to transition into some sort of lizard-dragon species. As always, stick around to the end for the recap. This week's...
That's called the Alien Reptilian. And they're out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. That's what I thought of when I saw it. I haven't actually seen this, but as I saw the thumbnail of it, I'm like, oh, yep.
Yep.
Like they're just trying to identify with their reptilian self.
Exactly.
Woke news and much, much more.
No, not my eyeballs.
Is that my book?
Balls. Down there, the danglers.
Wow.
Yeah, I had them removed in 2018. It's called an orchiectomy. It's myself to be a genderless dragon, and I...
Hey. Yeah, well, in a second. But I had to stop it at this point and be like, it is amazing the surgeries that can be done now. And the doctors will...
Just elective.
Just elective surgeries, and the doctors will do them. Doctors used to have to take oaths to do no harm.
Yeah.
And if you look at the stuff that's done now, I mean, look at the one guy we were watching, I don't know if it was Furry or, whatever it was, but remember all the costumes, but the one guy was getting all those freaking, piercings.
They screw it into the skull. Yeah, they did the things where they screw, stuff into the skull. You got, horns and stuff. Yeah, and it was furries. It was supposed to be furries, yeah.
Allow all of that to go on. That is how woke we have gotten.
Even about 10 to 12 years ago, it was shortly after Tristan was born, but not, it was a while back. There was a guy that identified as an extraterrestrial. And so he did the same kind of thing. He had his balls cut off, he had these weird cheek implants put on, he had these weird things put in here, and he just made him look more and more like I wouldn't really say a gray, but it was some sort of an alien. And he was super pale, he had these really weird lips and shit. Sorry. So it started about 2012, which is kind of funny. Because they say that we fell through this weird thing in 2012. Maybe it switched dimensions, but I just think something happened and just kind of screwed everybody up in the head.
Oh yeah, just like if you heard, there's been 4 more X-class solar flares.
Oh wow.
That sunspot has created now. It says radio blackout has been on and off.
Yeah, the satellite went out a couple times today. And I had that thing where I had to reset everything. And usually when we have a solar flare, I have to reset the entire satellite.
Yeah. But yeah, they said there's been 4 more already.
Yeah.
They said there might be 1 or 2. They predicted.
It's weird because his friends at school, this is he said that they only maybe see 1 fight in a whole year. They got into another almost fight today. People have just been ramped up. The kids have been really pissy. They can't handle anything. Even Leo went striding across the field, threw some stuff down, tried to get up in somebody's face, which I guess was pretty comical. But his brother sitting there was yeah, screw him up, and it's they were just super agitated. So I bet you that's probably what it's from.
Yeah, going to the city, you can see it.
Yeah, these people are nuts. And I think that the city, it affects them more because they're around so many electronics.
Exactly. All the wires and stuff. We've got some wires here. Yeah, no. They got wires down there everywhere.
Yeah, and then even just the wireless. The frequencies and stuff.
5K.
Yeah. I can't imagine as beaming off all of those buildings and stuff.
They know it affects birds.
Yeah.
They've seen the effects it has on them.
Other animals. We have sheep that are walking around in circles.
Yeah.
For 12 hours out of the day.
That's bad.
They're not even eating, and people are it's because they don't have enough room. It's you can see that they're in the middle of a giant ass field, and they're still walking in circles. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It could very well be that,
Get a full connectomy, and I I have no gender, no genitalia to identify my gender. I love that. Yeah. Bye-bye, balls. Bye-bye. It's been nice loving you.
What the hell are you?
Now, I'm not sure what's worse, the mental illness or the surgeon who profits off of it.
Exactly.
Either way, it's time someone takes away his voting rights for the sake of his country. And it's not all about
Wow.
appearances. Many folks also act and behave just like animals. Like this next woman who eats spaghetti off the New York subway. Take a watch.
New York is not a real place.
God.
And that was cringeworthy enough. Do you know what is on the subways? Especially New York subways.
Oh, God.
I mean, that is how bad that is. That is terrible.
It's like the couple that I did the react so that was going around with their feet going everywhere barefoot in the city with their freaking feet.
Yeah.
And people are saying, well, that's just rage bait, that's fake. And I'm like, it's not really fake when they're actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, unless they wouldn't clean stuff up afterwards or whatever, but it's like they still actually did that.
They did.
So that means if they're doing, there's other people out there doing it.
Yeah.
Walking on the street and then touching things that you touch with your hands, and then those people go and touch their face.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got a foot on your face.
Yes, the city.
So looks good tonight. Yeah. You got me saying, you know you're looking good
It's gotta be a
too.
thick.
Now, I wouldn't even dare to look at a subway floor under a microscope, but you can be pretty sure this woman's going home with a bad tummy ache. And that's what you get for acting like a common rat on the street. Meanwhile, you'll notice a lot of others choose to identify as dogs for some reason, as our next two clips will show. Now, it's interesting, their screams sound like most woke university students.
You were saying?
And that's kind of cool. I think people need to kind of do that more often, like do retreats where they do primal yelling or howling or whatever, and really get in touch with
Yes.
their animalistic side, the primal side, you know. But like people are taking that back and like making it their entire identity.
Yeah,
all the time.
going to restaurants, doing it.
Or going to school.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, that's a big
Like-
problem.
Like that's pretty cool. I've done that.
You ask them any valid question. And as for the first clip, all I see is someone who grew up without proper parenting. And I just hope we stop normalizing ridiculous behavior like this. That being said, there are some crazy things that even animals don't do. For example, using your own sister as a surrogate and impregnating her with twins.
I gotta watch
See if you can follow along this next one.
My sister Brianna is carrying both our twins.
Honestly, I've been raising a child for, 13 years
Well, if
now.
this is what you did, then I'm scared because I'm a brat. Hello, Brianna. Brianna being the carrier was the most important thing to us. I knew that I could trust her. Some people thought, this is sick, you guys are freaks, white trash from Arkansas. What you're doing is wrong to the core.
And they're all adults making these comments. Shocking.
I think we found the problem here.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm not even going to bother to figure out how or why they got into this situation. All I know is we need to make it stop and bring insane asylums back. Otherwise, we're truly
Yes.
putting our own species to shame.
Yeah.
Another thing I can't stand is people wasting perfectly good food for no good reason. Take a look at this next one.
By wasting.
Yeah, by wasting milk. I mean, way to go, vegans. I know not all vegans are like this, but it's just ridiculous
hard
that
to-
any of them would go through these lengths to do it. I mean, another one, the vegan teacher. She's the most idiotic person. I don't know if she just does it for likes, for what attention, whatever.
I don't think anybody likes her.
But no, she.
But she's pushed people literally in the other direction, which is
Yeah.
sometimes what I kind of think. It's like I think that she's kind of like this evil entity that's kind of
Maybe.
like pushing people to kind of like continue their gluttonous ways, because there's so many people that will be like showing them eating like these massive meat meals and like tagging her in it and stuff, you know?
Yeah,
It's like you're doing the exact opposite of what you're preaching, and
exactly.
and
She is.
targets like she makes childlike things, but they're not for children. Because they got a bunch of gross stuff in it, like these little baby chicks that are getting ground up and everything.
Oh, I know.
Or the cussing that she does, just
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's. If anybody hasn't seen the vegan teacher, look her up. But she does everything towards for kids to become vegans. But she has cussing. She has just downright hatred.
Yeah, she's always talking really negatively about people, and she's like, you know, saying you're a really bad person. If
Yeah.
you know, it's like you're gonna go to hell. I'd rather my own family die if they weren't gonna.
They weren't gonna be vegan.
Yeah.
And
She's
I
like, I
mean,
wouldn't give my own son a kidney transplant if he's not gonna go and promise to be vegan afterwards. You know, he can just rot, and it's like. And then, you know, but she always says it like a teacher. She says it like, you know, she's got that teacher
Yeah.
persona, and she's got this sickeningly sweet voice. I don't know. She looks weak as hell. She's got like tiny arms.
yeah.
You know, so I don't trust anybody that's that pale and has that tiny of arms. So
No.
it's like-
And she moved away. She doesn't even live in the States. And she was Canadian,
she was
wasn't
Canadian, yeah. And then now she lives in Italy.
she? Yeah.
Yeah. This is what they say, and I mean, I kind of get it. I understand what they're saying now. It's like they say that it's like, I mean, they're basically raping and stealing stuff from these animals, right? It's like it's a whole manufactured process. And it's going to sound a little bit cold on my part, but, you know, on behalf of the animals, it's like they don't really know any different. And they're not going to live that long anyway. But if that is true, if they're being tortured and it's really horrible, they're just like going to like take those animal suffering and just pour it all over the floor and not let anybody
Yeah, exactly.
use it
Not use
for
what there
nourishment.
is, but that's more going towards the evil of waste.
Yeah. Waste and
You know, we're gonna
excess.
waste it because we
Yeah.
don't want anybody using it. When, I mean, that goes along the same ways. For them to say, well, we're vegan, we're better, but yet we're gonna waste something.
Yeah, and it's like these people that used to go around. They used to like throw paint on people's like fur coats and
Mhm.
stuff. And it's like I even found out that I had a legitimate fox fur jacket, and it's like I didn't get rid of it and I didn't burn it because I was like that animal gave its life for it. I'm gonna honor it that way, you know.
Yep.
And then it's like a lot of people had like they went after people for leather, even wearing leather, you know, and talking about that and like ruining people's stuff. And it's like that's just. They do it with the paintings too. There's,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on this one, but one of the clownfish ones, they have people going in and like wrecking paintings. For what? I can't remember.
And that's ridiculous.
But it's like they're destructive and wasteful and excessive.
Yeah, it is,
Very simple.
for sure.
Now, I'm not sure what that accomplishes, besides forcing the supermarket to restock their inventory and waste more food. But going back to the topic of humans versus animals, our penultimate clip is brought to you by comedian Lou Berger, who explains why furries might see themselves banned from schools, crazy as that might seem.
Did you hear that furries could get banned in Oklahoma schools? The furry fandom is a community interested in anthropomorphic animals. There's a diverse range of participation from art conventions to role play. And some folks in Oklahoma have been expressing themselves as furries at school. Well, like the dirty dancing dad of furries, James Humphrey proposed outlawing that. He proposed a law banning furries from participating in school curriculums. Where suddenly, and without warning, furries' parents would have to come pick them up or else they'd be picked up by animal control.
Finally, something we can agree on.
Now, I'm not even sure why furries would be allowed in a school in the first place, but it's no wonder parents are pulling their kids out left and right. And speaking of schooling, our final clip offers a glimpse into a child's life and why we see a growing number of confused youth. Here's a non-binary cow from a popular TV show explaining their gender identity.
If I'm going to lead the herd, I want to do it as myself. After all, you always say to lead with your heart, right? Well, my heart says that the way I feel most myself is to go by the name Fred. That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them, because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me.
Now, don't ask me why we're putting this nonsense on a show for young children.
Okay, so that... What, cow? Is it supposed to be?
I don't know if it's a cow or a bison. I think it's a bison.
Okay, whatever. That bison, cow, whatever it is saying that there's more than one of it.
Non-binary. You're saying it's non-binary.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's both male and female.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that means that it's... Because they're trying to call themselves they, them.
Yeah.
Which means there's more than one of them. There has to be.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, even in English language, when you say, they went to the store, it could still be, like, a singular thing. So, I mean, it still kind of works, but... Yeah, I mean, just like the whole non-binary cattle thing. I don't know, man.
Hey, Sancho. Good to see you, man. You're in for a good one with this.
But nothing in the world really surprises me anymore. The only good news I can tell you is that this show got cancelled shortly after this episode aired. Now, we've watched a lot of truly disturbing clips today that don't exactly put our species in the best light. From people altering their appearance to look like animals, to people identifying as or behaving like animals. If you ask me, what really separates humans from animals is the ability to use complex reasoning and language. So instead of screaming incoherently and acting like mindless buffoons, maybe some of these folks should try to act properly and show some self-respect. But let me know what you guys think. Would we have seen behavior like this 50 years ago, and why are people like this today? I'll leave you with one more piece of news, since we're on the topic of humans and animals. The animal rights group PETA has been calling for merry-go-rounds to be cancelled, because according to them, the use of animal designs on merry-go-rounds unintentionally celebrates the exploitation of thinking, feeling, affectionate and social beings. They also argued that children in particular are taught to become compassionless beings who see animals as simply there for our entertainment. And since they started campaigning to ban all horse or animal-shaped designs in British playgrounds, one Kansas-based carousel producer actually made the call to stop producing all animal-themed carousels. Now, plenty of politicians have spoken out against this campaign, and I, for one, don't blame any of them. It's ridiculous enough to think children are subconsciously learning.
That one just drives me nuts, though, because, I mean, a carousel, it's been around forever. There's no life to it whatsoever. It's just for entertainment. And PETA, which always goes too far, wants to be like, oh, well, no, that's still animal cruelty. Yeah. Really?
It's like we have lived and worked with animals. I mean, I've lived and worked with animals for all of my life. My family has, it's like there's a partnership. And when animals want to work. And there's horses that I've known that want to work.
Yes.
And we form this bond and we form this partnership. We have the same goal. And then they want to turn around and put a freaking, they want to put a stop to that.
Yeah.
Same thing with horses, same thing with dogs.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the one, Endurance, the Endurance page that you...
Oh, Endurance Kennels.
Endurance Kennels,
Yeah.
I mean, they posted their stuff, like, all natural, just being, like, when the water's in,
Yeah.
you can see mud everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this is just how it is. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it should be. But for the most part, no matter where you are, you'll get, in trouble for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, that's not right.
They're brave to post that sort of stuff.
They
It's
are.
Like, it's like I'm really limited on the things that I post that make it look like it could be exploitive or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I know how that it'll be taken, but working animals with a working partnership.
It's how they are.
And if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. I've been there and done that too. I've had animals that don't want to work.
And they won't.
They won't work.
It's more like with what we've talked about with the horse racing business too.
Yeah.
Those animals, they really want to work.
Yeah.
When they don't, you see it in them.
Yeah.
You'll see it on the track, then the people, for the most part, the owners know it, and they'll stop them.
Yeah, because it's like, why waste your money? I mean, even if it's a business perspective, it's like, why waste your money on an animal that's just going to be resistant, so it's like,
And I mean, there's a lot of corruption in the racehorse industry.
A lot of it is human done, too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's between human to human. They're cruel to everybody.
And I mean, that's just the way it is. But it's not, I mean, it still should be allowed to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's lost its character.
Yeah.
But, they just, like PETA, they just didn't understand. It's like there's a partnership. And
Well, it's just because we've always have extremist groups.
Yeah.
And that's all it is they want to, take things a step further and to show people that they're there.
And it's like, it's like, that's violating their rights too, because it's like, that's how, I mean, they talk about cats, and the cats were self-domesticated, they came to the people. Same thing with the dogs. I mean, the wolves came to the people. They chose to start helping them. They chose to start working together.
Yeah.
There's some place down in, I don't know if it's the Philippines or Brazil, and like every year, the dolphins come in and they help fishermen. They shepherd all the fish up onto the shore, and the fishermen just catch them in giant nets, and then they throw
That's awesome.
out to the dolphins when it's all done. They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, see, and that's using what you have around you.
Yeah, that's the wild.
That's the way it should be.
Works,
Yes.
Yeah, they want to separate all of that, Drive a wedge.
Sancho, you guys are the definition of a power family, honestly. There's a word for it, but I forget what it's called.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We enjoy each other.
Yep, we have fun with this and like to try to get the word out.
We're on the same page.
To become heartless exploiters of animals. But the real problem for me is that the cancel culture will never just stop there. I wouldn't be surprised if switching from horse designs to airplane designs, for example, would lead to backlash from the climate change lobby, given how sensitive everyone is. I'm all for protecting animals, but there are no doubt plenty of more pressing issues that actually have an impact on the world. This just sounds like a complete waste of time and resources. As always, thanks for supporting this channel, and I'll see you all next week.
Next.
Young children everywhere are making life-altering decisions about their gender orientation. But does a child always know what's best for them? Before we dive deeper into this, we'll look at a parent who insists their baby uses they-them pronouns, despite being only 15 months old. As always, stick around to the end for the recap, this week's woke news, and much, much more.
Excuse us.
How old is she?
They are 15 months old. We actually use they, them pronouns for grade until they tell us who they are. That's why you're like, who, what?
Oh, wow. Okay, so.
No, they do not use them. You call them that. That is how that works. That is flat out the parent shoving ideas on to the kid.
They said that kid was like 15 months.
Yeah.
They don't even know probably their own name. I don't know. I can't remember how that works, but it's like they're only gonna know exactly like what the mother or the father calls them.
Yes.
Because you never really see fathers involved here.
No, you don't.
The mothers go by themselves.
No, it's the single mother mindset.
Even if they're not single, still that mindset.
Exactly.
They.
They.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the pride parade.
Did you say thank you? Thank you.
Yep.
Now, it's hard to fathom why a child who can't even form sentences should care about their pronouns. But one thing we do know about parents like this is that they'll definitely pressure their child to contemplate every little thing about themselves, and most likely grow up unsure of who they are. And external influences like this come from everywhere. Next up is a drag queen who explains...
All I can say is you look at some of this stuff here, and you just think Gotham City is coming to life.
Oh my god, is this the one? Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Batman!
why drag shows are educational and should continue to be allowed in classrooms.
We will not let fear win. A world without trans people has never existed. A world without drag has never existed, and it never will. Queer people have always been here amongst us. They are our coworkers, they are our brothers, our sisters, they are our mothers, our fathers, they are our families. Drag is art, drag is culture, drag is educational, drag is creative, drag is comedy, but drag is not a crime. My name is Scarlett Bobo, and thank you so much for your time.
Good idea.
Now, unsurprisingly, this took place in Canada, which just goes to show how far the country's standards and priorities have fallen when it comes to their education system. Why anyone would want to dress up in drag and teach children of all people is beyond me. Meanwhile, our next two clips reveal more about life in school for such young children. Here's a non-binary boy's thoughts on his conservative principal and a rather unusually dressed high school teacher in Texas.
My principal says that we're not normal. That me and my friends are human beings because we wear different clothes and we have different pronouns. Everyone is normal. There's nothing that isn't normal about us.
Now, 60 years ago, this would have suspensions and teachers pulling their kids out left and right. It's crazy how desensitized those kids look, and really makes you wonder how much indoctrination goes on in their formative years. As for the first clip...
Okay, he says doctrination, but if you go to a big college now, that's completely all it is.
Yeah.
Any of the, like, universities, right, I think?
Yeah, honestly, it's been all of the Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
You know, like the really big, like there was Columbia, there's Harvard, there's Yale.
See, they're making it so people don't want to go to college.
Princeton, most of them, a lot of ones out here in California.
Yeah, but they're making it so people don't want to go to college.
Right. And
so they don't get the college education, but there's still a lot of trade, trade schools to go to.
And you can do online learning. There's nothing that you can't really, you can get a bachelor's, you can get a master's online. You might have to do proctored exams somewhere, like at a library or something, but I mean, I definitely say to pursue higher education, but I can't say that going to college is beneficial really for anybody at this point.
Yeah, no, it's not. And that's the sad part.
But definitely continuing education, whether that be formally or just doing it throughout life, learning, because you need to always need to be like elevating. But yeah, going to the colleges, I don't know, community college might be okay still.
Yeah, community I think is one of the only ones still safe for now.
Right.
But I mean, all these anti-Israel protests that are going on now, and again, more extremist groups.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is.
UCLA, I don't even know at this point. There was UCLA and Columbia. They started to kind of get overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
And it's even being set up now in like English schools, British schools.
But see, that just comes down to two. We're talking about these solar flares.
Yeah,
and all these people are ramped up. Right. I mean, that's what it's bringing, and we're almost to the 11-year sun maximum.
Okay.
We're almost at that point.
It'll peak out like in September, right?
Yeah, I think so. And so, that just kind of shows that's when the sun's at its most active.
That's interesting. Yeah, that makes about sense. And you said it was like 11 years. And that's why when I started to notice these sorts of things, because he's 14 now. And he was about 2 or 3 when I started noticing these really strange behaviors. So
yeah.
It's gotten worse and worse, I bet you. It's, as I like to call it, electromagnetic puppetry.
Yes.
Let me know what you guys think. Is the principal in the right here? Personally, I'm more concerned with why a young boy like him knows he's non-binary from such an early age. It certainly doesn't look like the stress-free upbringing that other children get to have. Which brings us back to the main question of whether a child really knows best. Here's one woman who calls parents' rights an infectious idea. Take a watch.
And all of this is happening with this infectious idea that's taking over, of this idea of parents' rights, that parents have a right to know. They have a right to know if their child is going by a different name or using different pronouns in school. And the thing that keeps hitting me about...
Yes, parents' rights, because the kid is living under their roof. They are paying for the kid. That is the rights that the parents have. They have that right to know what the kid is doing. When that kid turns 18, they can go off and do whatever they want to. And the parents have no say over them, assuming that they're not living under their roof. If they're living under their roof still, I assume the parent would still have some say. But that's called living under somebody's authority.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that they can't really make medical decisions, obviously.
No, they can't.
You know, they can't really make sound decisions, and they know that. That's why they had that 18-year-old cap put into place to begin with.
Yes.
They said that was a minimum.
Exactly.
You know, so it was like, it should be more like 23 to 25.
I think 25. I think 25 is the perfect.
But can you imagine anybody living with their parents for
I know, no.
It's like, you know, it's like,
Well, our kids can however long they want to.
yeah, I mean, it's like, but they just gotta contribute.
Yeah.
Know? But that's because we live a non-Western lifestyle.
Yeah.
But, like, the normal kid wants to be out by the time that they're 18, and I always kind of find that pretty telling as well.
I was out at, like, what, 17?
Yeah. I know, and it was really shocking to me, because it was like, you know, I don't know.
Because my mother wasn't a mother.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it went. And so I just said, you know, I'm out of here.
And I remember she gets a hold of my mother and is like, well, how would you feel if your daughter just, like, up and decided she didn't want to be around you anymore? And my mother's like, well, I would find out what the heck I was doing to make her not want to be around me. And she didn't follow that advice.
Nope, she didn't.
But it was always that way with them, you know. It was like this victim mentality. It's like, I can't believe you're doing this to me.
I know. To me. When's it going to be my turn?
After this one, I will tell you a story that I learned about Jeff Goldblum today.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what I did. I wrote a comment.
All right.
This is that parents don't have rights, not parents' rights. Kids have rights. Individuals have rights. We have seen in our legal and justice systems that the decisions that parents make can be legally overridden by their children. Children who are old enough to understand a concept are old enough to provide their own independent consent to that. And if a kid knows what pronouns are, then frankly, they're able to consent to changing their own pronouns, and their parents...
They only know what pronouns are because the school system is shoving it down their throat.
Or another parent.
Or a parent.
Yeah.
But I've seen, there's so many of these teachers going on TikTok now, you know, I would only give the kids that would identify as something different a cupcake. The ones that identify as what they are, they don't need anything because they're not special.
They're secure with who they are, so they don't need any kind of encouragement.
Yeah.
Like, who's not going to want a cupcake, you know?
Yeah, every kid will want a cupcake, so they're going to say something different.
And that's just training.
That's a kid. Yeah, training, and that's a kid for you.
Again, I've trained animals forever.
Yep.
It's just reinforcement, you know?
Exactly.
See, now I give LongWalker a fruit because he's getting that point.
do not need to be involved in that decision.
You really believe that?
Now, I'd remind this woman it wasn't too long ago that these young children were swallowing Tide Pods. The simple fact is that young children should not be able to consent to anything on a mature level. And people like this are the type to subject children to all sorts of mature topics, then turn around and blame the parent when they step in to deal with the mental health consequences. And while I think she's in desperate need of a reality check, so too does this trans university student whose biggest fear is finding the appropriate bathroom to use.
I'm a transgender student at Mizzou. I use he, him pronouns, and I've been receiving gender-affirming care for about 8 months. I have used a public bathroom 5 times in the past 6 months. And it's never easy. If I'm in a building, I will find a bathroom the furthest possible away from others. When I go in, I'll shut myself in the stall as fast as I can. If someone else comes in, I wait for them to leave. I have left events early so that I would not have to use a restroom. I've been late to classes trying to find a gender-neutral bathroom. And I do all of this with no bathroom ban in place.
Come to California. You will find those. I have those on my video. They're even in the state capital here in California.
But not an easily accessible men's bathroom.
Yes.
You have to go upstairs for that.
Do it because I'm afraid. Currently, I look very androgynous, and every time I freeze up trying to decide which is the safest option. And oftentimes that decision is that waiting 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour is worth it over the risk of making the wrong decision.
Sadly, it seems that a lot of these problems in today's world are self-inflicted, because this seems like the perfect example of creating your own problem and then proceeding to cry and moan about it. And I'd be curious to see how this student's experience using public bathrooms would differ in almost any other country. But on the subject of letting young trans kids go through surgeries, it's often hard to find a logical, well-spoken explanation, as our next clip will show.
Denying trans people life-saving care is a kind of rude thing to do.
Life-saving care?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so denying trans people their life-saving care is a rude thing to do.
You think it saves kids' lives to stop their bodies from going through puberty?
I think it does.
How come?
Because there's studies showing that, like, people who transition, who are pre-transitioning... How do I explain this?
It's okay, take your time. No pressure.
There's studies showing that children who are unable to transition, and keep in mind, most of the time they're not being given hormones at 13. They're given puberty blockers to stop them from going through what they feel is the wrong puberty. And their experience it. I don't want to have this conversation.
No. You're honest, and then you want.
Yeah, that is the typical default lock up and walk out. They're like, I don't want to do this. No, bye. That's what every woke person does. You ask them one question that's going a little too far for them, and it's just,
they're out.
Gone.
It's like, I've been in positions where I've had conversations with people that it's like stumped me. Mm-hmm. And I have to really think about my position on that, and then it's like I just kind of sit there for a little bit, and I'm like, well, I've never really thought about it that way. You know?
Well, yeah, or you look at them and wow, damn, that's good.
Yeah,
I never thought of that.
Yeah, take it into consideration, and it's like, or you come back with a rebuttal if you have one, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, it's like sometimes it just happens. That's how people learn.
You don't get all huffy and walk out.
Right. I mean, it's like unless they're saying something incredibly freaking stupid, you know. Like I have a problem with ranchers and wolves. You know, this is the only time that I've ever had that default walk away thing, because it's like, we just don't see eye to eye there.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what you say, you can't change their mind, so it's like, alright.
Yep.
Him to take it, or?
I mean, I'm gonna be late to class.
Now, it wouldn't be any surprise if she was late to some sort of gender studies class. And walking away seems to be a common move in these debates, as our final clip of the day, also concerning trans children undergoing surgery, will show.
Oh, did you know who you were at 10?
Hell no. When I was 10, I was obsessed with, like, the naked wit. You would have thought I was going to be like the next Hugh Hefner. And now I'm gay as hell. So imagine if I had been given some sort of surgery then.
Do you think the government should make those decisions for you?
Well, the government makes decisions when it comes to protecting kids all the time. That's correct. Can you feed your child alcohol? You can, legally. Can they get a tattoo? Can you tattoo your child?
I don't know about tattoos.
Okay.
My kids never.
When you abuse your child, physically abuse them, I mean, you can do anything you want with your child, right?
But this is a family decision.
It's a life-altering decision. I went too aggressive. Wait.
You always know a debate is won when the other party starts screaming, hurling abuse, or walking away, sometimes all three in unison. But the folks in this video made a great point. You don't see children being permitted to drink alcohol, get tattoos, vote, or doing anything mature until they turn 18. Logical people understand that you need a certain number of years of life experience to make big decisions, so it makes absolutely no sense that something as big as gender transformation surgery is permitted. And to recap today's videos, when it comes down to whether a child can make the right decisions for themselves, most would agree that living under ultra-woke parents who give you they-them pronouns at 15 months old, or being allowed to watch drag shows growing up and receive gender-affirming care, probably means your decision's already been made for you. And if not, there are people out there calling parents' rights an infectious idea and telling you that you don't have to listen to them. We need to do a much better job protecting the younger generation. But to leave you with a piece of news that will definitely get your blood boiling, Christian McGee, a 16-year-old student at Central Davidson High School in Lexington, North Carolina, was suspended for 3 days last week after he used the term illegal alien during a vocabulary assignment in his English class. According to a news source by JCO Report, his teacher assigned vocab words including the word alien, and Christian responded by asking, and I quote, "Is that like space aliens? Or illegal aliens without green cards?" Now, such a simple and harmless question, most people wouldn't think anything of it. But apparently, some of Christian's classmates took offense to that, and ultimately Christian's words were deemed by administrative staff to be disrespectful to classmates of Hispanic descent. Christian actually clarified that he didn't make a statement directed towards anyone, and simply asked to clarify for the purposes of his assignment, and that the term illegal alien was one he hears on the news and can find in the dictionary. But in addition to the 3-day suspension, Christian actually also risks losing his athletic scholarships for college, as he's actively involved in school clubs, track and cross country. Now, if I'm not mistaken, illegal alien is a term used in federal law and frequently in political discussions. Yes. So I'm not sure what's worse, the fact that a 16-year-old got suspended for using such a harmless term in a non-controversial...
What happened?
Pause. We lost sound. Hold on. Or the video might have. Give me a second.
Hold on, I'm gonna go to the next one and see if, because it's over anyway.
Okay.
We'll pause it so you can tell your story. But
Oh, I forgot about it already. I know what I was saying.
let's hope that we have sound on it.
Me and my
me
and my boyfriend broke up. Which
Okay.
Okay, so, you actor, Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Super funny guy, right? I saw this kind of a little bit iffy headline with him a couple of days ago, and it resurfaced again today. And it says that he doesn't plan on leaving any money to his children. Like, he's like, they can row their own boat. He named his daughter River, and then told her she could row her own boat. But
you think that was a setup?
I went to the comments, and people were like, they had various, opinions on this. They said, well, yeah, that's typical, boomer, just pull the ladder up behind you, stuff like that. And then there's other people saying, well, it's better to not expect it and to, work for the things that you have in life. And then there was finally one comment that says, okay, well, nobody's actually listened to this actual podcast. He never said anything about that. The closest thing to that he says is, like, he just kind of wonders where some of his stuff's going to go after he dies. He never once said anything about denying his children access to his wealth or anything.
So see, that's how
they twist it.
Yeah.
But, so I made the comment, though. I was, like, on Tristan, so I had to act like it was him telling the story from my perspective, but I was saying, how I was supposed to be an heiress to the $3 billion.
Yeah.
Never, no, you don't have to worry about anything, and when you want to use the money, it'll be there for whatever you want to do in life. And then it came with strings and attachments. It's like, yeah, only if you go to college. Only if you go to college to be a veterinarian. Only if you don't get involved with this guy, and so it's like I very gladly walked away from that. And I said, he's supposed to be the next in line to get that inheritance. But I said I wouldn't count on it. For that reason, because they always hold these things over your head, and it was like talked about how it's like built a monastery, you worked. It's like they called you a piece of shit. It was never going to amount to anything, and you work, you pay all the bills.
Yep.
You handle all of the stuff here. It's been 20 years that we've known each other. 19 years we've been together. 17 years we've been married.
Exactly.
He's only 14, so that shows that we waited.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's like that $3 million, it's like, yeah, that could have helped build things that we have faster, but they're going to get built anyway.
Oh, yeah. We'll get them built.
I was just thinking, it's like, yeah, maybe it is better to not really plan on having any money.
It's like for him, it's better to plan on it.
Right.
And then if it does happen,
that's a
cool.
bonus, but otherwise you have skills.
Yeah, you have skills and you can do it.
He knows how to trade, he knows how to garden, he knows how to work with animals, he knows how to, work with stuff out in public, it's like he has skills.
Yep.
He can make it. He can make his own fortune.
Exactly.
And it's like my whole goal is to make a property and a sanctuary to where him and his descendants have a place to go should they need to go, with food to eat and that kind of security.
Exactly.
It's like I don't think I'll ever be able to offer the kind of money that my family would have, but I can offer that security still.
Exactly. I mean, we own this place.
Yeah. And we built it. And we're building it still. You know? So we still have We still have gardens to make, but by the time that
But we got some made this year too.
Exactly, it's like they'll get bigger.
Yep.
By the time that he has children, it's like he won't have to. He won't have to worry if something happens to them out in the world. They can come back.
Exactly.
And have security and be taken care of, and
we're not gonna be like our parents' generation where your mother had the place paid off
and
then took another loan out and lost it.
Or your family that just kept moving everywhere all the time, never settling down roots.
No, it's like no. I want a place. I want to be here. That is it.
It's like I don't like miss traveling. It doesn't call to me in that way. It's like the only calling that I have is to build this place.
Yes.
To make a secure place.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's what brought that up. It was this whole thing with him saying that he's not going to leave. And he was like, well, at least they know. If that's true, at least they know. At least it wasn't like me where I was told for years.
Well, no, you don't have to worry. Don't worry.
And then nothing.
Don't worry.
I started holding that over my head. It was always this game of whoever's in favor. Well, I changed the will, and this is who's going to get what because they're like favoring me more and they're doing more for me.
Oh, and this person now is going to be the one that distributes everything.
Yeah, always different. I was that for a while.
Yeah.
My mother was that originally, then it was me, and now it's Joanne, and it's like some people that I'd never even freaking met in my life.
No.
And they always had these people that they just absolutely adored, and they called them family, and the next thing you know, they're cutting them out of their life. I mean, just money.
Well, no, they're pieces of junk.
Yeah. It's like they're just using us. They're just using. They just want to see what we got.
Yeah.
Paranoid, So it was like, no, I'd rather be free of the money.
Yeah.
And have some peace of mind and build it up that way because it just wasn't worth it.
It wasn't, no. Alright, we'll watch this one, and then I'm going to call it because I want to actually game a little bit tonight.
I know, we got to do that.
So.
We call them the end times.
Yeah, this is definitely the end times. I mean, you can see it coming. Can I get a couple grapes? You can see it coming, and I mean, you gotta hunker down, you gotta know what's right, and follow suit.
The end.
Okay, it's just he is who he is, I'm who I am, and that's just how it is. It just didn't work. It's whatever. I'm totally fine. I'm completely fine. Honestly, it was a long time coming. I mean, I dated him for over 3 years. I blocked him on everything.
We know the real reason. This girl was probably getting floods of DMs from guys giving her attention, throwing money at her. I mean, the girl was making from anywhere up to $250,000 a month. She became a millionaire, the fourth highest earner. The boyfriend wasn't cutting it anymore, clearly. And we've seen this time and time and time again. These girls get a flood of wealth, fame, attention, and that guy's been with them the whole time. He ain't shit anymore. Sounds like to me he dodged a bullet with that one.
And I'm one of them. I made $300,000. I'm 23. I drive a Porsche. I go on a lot of trips, whatever.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
If I had to pick one ick and one ick only about a man, it would be him being born.
What?
Wow.
In the span of 24 hours, I had one man tell me that nobody will date a girl with a kid. And then I vented to another guy about the person who said that. And then he told me, no, that's not true. But a man doesn't want to date a girl who slept with a lot of guys. 2 for 2.
It's called congratulations, you played yourself.
That is just a harsh reality check right there. Real men don't want to come into a woman's life and deal with her bad decisions she's made in the past. No guy wants to do that.
What is the ideal height in a guy?
6'3".
6'3"? No way.
You know one of the guys I hooked up with. You know multiple guys of the.
But 6'3"?
Yeah.
Ain't no way. How tall are you?
4'11".
That's almost double, yo. That's crazy.
Stop it. Get some help.
Here by his crotch.
Right here.
I probably wouldn't do that, no.
No, but I'm saying like I'm sure like the partners kind of feel a little weird about someone else's name being on their skin. No.
I don't feel insecure because I feel like give me an example. What was that guy's name?
Ben.
Ben. Like if you had Ben tattooed on you somewhere,
Yes.
I would just add a D and an over to it,
Ben.
and then it would be like a whole new tattoo. It'd be like fun.
You're quick. He's clever. Ooh.
He's got that quick thinking right there. And, you know, that might have just secured him the bag. So, fair play to him.
That's why.
Well, I think we all know why men don't approach girls in gyms anymore. Because there's thousands of videos like this on the internet.
She's waiting
I was
for a
so
guy
uncomfortable.
to approach her to make a video.
But, so I finally get around to my set. Now I want you to notice he's looking around
this one.
everywhere. Make sure nobody's looking. He has his phone in his hand. And just briefly, after he walks through, you can see that he's going to lift his camera up. He's going to take a quick Snapchat with with the finger, and put it right back down. When I was not looking, of course, because that's what predators do. And creep. And I am so glad that I did not see you do this, because if I did, I'd be in jail and you'd be in the hospital, bitch.
This is one of the worst videos I've ever had to do. Women are absolutely victims of harassment in the gym, but you are not one of them. This man is not taking a photo of you, which everyone in the comments, men and women, seems to get but you. It looks to me like he lifts his phone up slightly to use facial recognition to unlock it. Not to mention, his finger is literally over the camera lens, and at that angle, he'd be taking a photo of the ground, not you. Then you go and you threaten this man, you call him a predator, and you share the location of his gym? Really? This gym, Choose Fitness, should kick your ass out. And that man, if possible, should press charges against you.
Joey Swell always says it a lot better than I do. I mean, he's a veteran in the game, but he's completely right. This girl ridiculed this innocent man online, you know, and who knows, his wife might have seen that. His job might have seen that. You don't know the damage that video might have caused. And this is why guys don't approach girls, or even go near them for that matter, in gyms, because of things like this.
Ladies, the more expensive you look and the more expensive you sound, the smaller your dating pool is going to be. Because a lot of men will have a hard time committing to you because your presence makes them feel insecure.
Here we go again with these euphemisms. Like, remember, intimidating? He must be intimidated by my strongness. What she's saying is everyone has costs to their lives, and men traditionally bear the costs for both partners, even though women want to get paid the same even if they're not doing the same work. So the more it costs to keep you around, the more men will be insecure around you. I would like to use a different word. I'm going to go with disgusted. Here's why. She compares women to cars. Some women are Bugattis. They're expensive, so people walk out of the dealership. She then says, don't be a Toyota or even a Benz. Just wait for the right customer. Now, money does matter. You have to have enough to cover the costs. And it's okay to have standards as long as they're reasonable. But when do you have money is the basis of the relationship, well, what happens when that changes? It's all going to collapse.
I can't even say anything to that. That breakdown was elite. I ain't even going to comment on it. The guy said everything.
What is a high body count for a woman?
I don't think it exists.
Explain why.
Because high body count, that's just relative, and to me, there's no such thing as high.
Okay, what do you think?
The limit does not exist.
Damn, explain why.
It just doesn't, because you're a woman.
What an idiot.
If your significant other gets with another person during a break, is that considered cheating?
Oh, I can't say that. I can't say anything on that.
Why?
Well, I was the one that did that, so it's like I have no...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I do feel...
Damn.
I do feel guilty.
Okay. Did that person give you a second chance?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you get with that person afterwards?
No.
Well, I guess you learned your lesson then,
Yeah, I did.
Listen, I wouldn't consider it cheating, but if your partner says, I want a break, she wants to get whacked. I'm telling you. I don't understand these breaks. Like, a break for what? You can break up with me for 2 weeks, go and sleep with somebody or a few people, and then come back. That doesn't make sense. Listen, if your partner wants a break, you cut that shit off permanent.
Waited 24 hours for a guy's reply. And you know what that means.
I did my hair and I put on a cute dress, and now
Yeah, now on to that part, the last part about the break thing. You know, I was that guy
He was a
that,
simp.
yeah, that had that
Ultimate
happen. Before I got with who it was now, she would continuously take breaks and go do whatever the hell she was doing. She was cheating on me. I was a complete wreck in those days. I mean, knotted up to hell.
You're only like 17.
17.
You know.
I mean, you can contest. I was knotted up to hell.
Yeah, with all of your male, you know, all of your, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say with all of your male duties that you have to do now, all of your responsibilities that you have now, you're not as bad. You're not nowhere near as bad. It's like you've had these horrible stress knots there, you know, and it's like every night working them out because it was like you always had gut pain and everything, you know, and it's like your self-esteem was just completely in the dumps. But even you had that moment of realization when she did it the last time that you're like, I'm not doing that ever again.
No.
And you never did it again, you know. And she knew it. And she wrote this whole blog that was talking about, well, I knew I really screwed this up. It's like I really wanted to have a family and I had the perfect guy to do that. I just screwed it up. And she said it over and over and over.
Yep.
For months. And it's like...
And I was done. I mean, I remember when I said I was done, and then I went for a horse ride right after.
Yeah.
Just to get it all out.
And then I thought, perhaps I should not leave you alone with the horse on the trail. Because, yeah.
going on a date with another guy because you snooze, you lose is the motto of 2023.
Brother, what's that?
Anybody trying to date me, my bills are your bills.
And here we have another individual who has confused the rules of dating with the rules of marriage.
I don't care whose car it is. You're trying to date me. You're trying to take a load off of me.
Exactly when did dating come to mean taking the load off of someone financially? And here I thought dating was just about getting to know someone. When did that definition change?
So my car is your car. You cover the bills. I don't...
No, that's not what that means. If a person is just dating, no. Their property is still their property, and their responsibilities are still only theirs. It's not the other person's responsibility to financially take care of that person.
Simple. You're trying to date me, so my bills are your bills. Period.
But the simplest thing of all is that individuals with this particular thought process aren't going to end up being the most unhappy, because the individuals that they find are actually willing to support them financially just when they're dating and not when they're married are going to be the ones that they're the most unhappy with, because they have the lowest levels of self-esteem and self-worth. And they're going to find themselves wondering, where are all the real men at? Well, the real men are the ones that won't put up with this type of behavior.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
What benefits do you get from having him as a friend?
A good time.
Like?
Like going out tonight.
What benefits does he get from having you as a friend?
Having a good-spirited person near him.
Good energy.
Yeah.
We vibing tonight, man, for real.
Do you expect him to step in if somebody tried to snatch your purse?
I would hope so. Like, I wouldn't expect him to, like, end it all over it. But, like, maybe, like, wait a minute, give her purse back type of situation.
But if he's going to risk his life for you, what would be an equal benefit for him having you as a friend?
I don't know. Just mutually supporting him, being there for him. Like, I don't feel like I owe him anything, but as a person, as a friend, like, I feel like I would be there for him.
Do you agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Man, those hand signs you was throwing up at the end.
I think they were like friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if I was out with one of my friends and somebody tried to do something, I would get involved.
Well, I think that they were more than friends. I think they were friends, but...
Well, even so,
yeah.
I mean, even if it was just Kimberly had been in that situation, you know, I would have beat the crap out of
I would
somebody.
hope that anybody would, yeah. But I mean, I think they're saying with the standards
of like dating and
of
being,
it all now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was throwing up some signs like all the time. I don't know what. The guy was just starting to talk about it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
They must be the simp gang signs. That is another lost brother in the friend zone trenches right there. And he said he's just vibing. Nah, he's just waiting. It's either that or one of them has got a partner back at the house and they're just going with the just friends card. He ain't fooling me.
All right.
What the hell is even that?
Stop. All right, so that was the last video that we're going to do today. It was a little shorter, I think. Not much, though. I think it was close to an hour. But it's been a long day, so I'm going to have to end it in a second. So, thank you, Sancho, for joining us. Thank you, everybody that watches. We'll be back again on Friday with our new series that Nepper was setting up for us. The
7 Deadly Sins of Social Media.
Yeah, that one. And we're starting off Gluttony.
So we'll be covering some people like Nick Avocado, and Fruity Beauty, people like that.
So you won't want to miss those. That should be a really good setup that we just came up with and thought about and started setting up. So thanks to Nepper for that one.
That's right. Just gotta elevate you.
Yep. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
Yeah.